Eric Bolling is joining us from the 5. He's also got a brand new book out. It's called Wake Up America. So, wake up, America. Listen to this story. On Monday, it sounds like Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch, our Attorney General, simultaneously were on the tarmac at Sky Harbor Airport. How convenient indeed. She flew in on a federal jet. He was on a private jet. She went over to his jet, and they met for a half an hour. And even though she is running an investigation into his wife, she told the press out there they didn't talk about Hillary's email or any of that other stuff. Listen.
Was it appropriate for you to meet with former President Clinton while your agency is in the middle of an investigation of his wife's email servers?
Well, I did see the president at the Phoenix airport the other night. As I was landing, he was headed out. He did come over and say hello and speak to my husband and myself and talk about his grandchildren and his travels and things like that. So that was the extent of that. And no discussions were held in any cases or anything of that. And he didn't raise anything about that either.
Well, there's cries this morning for her to recuse herself.
Nothing to worry about.
Nothing wrong here at all?
I don't know if there's anything wrong, but the fact that Bill Clinton boarded her private plane and they sat, by the way, they both fly privately, right?
Right. No one can relate to that at all.
Why do it? Why do you know you have this man's wife under FBI investigation? The DOJ oversees the FBI. It just looks bad. Even if nothing happened, it looks awful. What's the point? They wanted to chit-chat about the grandchild? Is that why?
For a half an hour? Can you possibly have small talk like that?
Isn't there another way to do it? Maybe more in a more public setting?
Eric, recuse herself or not?
I don't know. I think you need a little bit more proof or evidence before she could go that far as to recuse herself. By the way, the FBI investigation is going to turn out what it's going to turn up. I'm sure there's some fantastic FBI investigators if they find something. And by the way, I've been contending all along they may or may not find something on the email scandal, but that will lead them to some of the Clinton Foundation stuff. I think there's a whole cornucopia of corruption that they can uncover through the email scandal.
Well, you know, it just looks like the fix is in because Hillary met with the President of the United States a couple of weeks ago. Now, her husband, the former president, is meeting with the Attorney General who's running the investigation. It just looks fishy.
He appoints Loretta Lynch. She oversees the FBI. The FBI is investigating Clinton, and then she wants to be president, and the husband meets with... Yeah, it doesn't look good.
It's a mess. I'm sure you've been spending the morning. If you go over to foxnews.com right now, holy smokes, we got a lot of polls. And there's some really fascinating data in all of these new Fox News polls that came out, one of which we wanted to get your take on this one. What will make the country safer? And Fox News poll says, will this make the country safer? Profiling. 59% of those polled said yes, it will. 13% said no. Carrying weapons. 41%, and then banning Muslims, 40%. Yeah. What do you make of this data?
So here's what I make of that. See those numbers right there? They're clearly, if you, 6 months ago, if you did the same poll, they may be a lot closer. I wrote the book about pushing back against PC culture. People are starting to realize, with people blowing up around the world, we need to stop terror. We need to stop homegrown terror. We need to stop international terror. And the way you do it is by doing profiling. Every cop in the world will tell you the only way to catch a suspect is to know the profile. Otherwise, everyone's a suspect. Eliminate the people who aren't suspects. Man, woman, tall, short, fat, skinny, black, white. And profile in. That's the only way to catch suspects.
On facts.
You have to do it based on facts.
Yeah, that's what
there's no racial aspect of profiling.
Donald Trump has been talking about some of this stuff, right? He's been out there beating the drum.
Particularly the banning Muslims. Now he's talking about, it sounds like it would be people from particular countries that are hotspots, but nonetheless, 40%, twice as many people say that they should ban Muslims to make the country safe.
So Donald Trump said ban all Muslims temporarily until we figure out what's going on. Now he recently changed. He said we started the conversation.
He's fine-tuning.
Right. Well, if we want to go on how many times politicians flip-flop and fine-tune things, if that would be the litmus test to exclude someone, there would be no politicians.
Why isn't he doing better though? Because part of this poll now is that he's dropped. He's dropped over the past few months. Why? So why if he's
had variably the worst 3 weeks in a year and a month since he's been running, and he's still within the margin of error. This is a statistical tie. It's a 3-point plus or minus. You add 3 to one side, take 3 away from the other, and they're tied. So with 3 horrible weeks, not spending anywhere near the money Hillary Clinton is spending, he's doing pretty okay. I think he's doing well. Also in swing states. He's tied in Ohio, tied in Pennsylvania. He needs to work on Florida. If he gets Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Florida, and the Romney states, it's a Republican win.
What about the female vote? What can he do to get more women on board?
I think you may have mentioned it earlier. Get Ivanka out there. Get Ivanka out on the trail, and she's been fantastic. The interesting dynamic between Donald, you may like Donald Trump, hate Donald Trump, but I will tell you as a father, if my son adores me the way those kids adore Donald Trump, I will have been a successful father. Get the kids out on the trail, get them out there as much as you can.
What do you make of the Never Trump movement? And then you've got Ted Cruz and John Kasich who say they're not going to endorse, they haven't endorsed, they're not going to endorse. The entire Bush dynasty has said, no, we're setting it out. Isn't that a vote for Hillary?
Of course it is. Of course it is. Because you need exactly this. You need everything Mitt Romney won, and then you need those 3 states.
Mitt Romney's pretty much full-time job blowing up Trump.
You don't get, all right, here, let's do it this way. Right now the Supreme Court is 4-4, right? Conservative liberal, 4-4. If it's Hillary Clinton, if you don't win this, if you don't lock this down, it's at least 5-4, if not 6-3 in the next 8 years.
If not more, because some of them are older.
And then there's something no one else has really talked about here. That's the Supreme Court. How about federal judges? The president appoints federal judges. The whole federal judge system, the circuit courts, they'll all be liberal. Supreme Court will be liberal. Our kids and grandkids will have a liberal judicial system for their lifetimes. If you elect Hillary Clinton.
I think what you're saying is wake up, America.
You know who I dedicated this book to?
Who?
Barack Obama. I swear it's on there, Steve. Take a look. He's the reason I wrote the book. He's dragged us so far left.
I read the book. You're
we
right.
We got to get back to center, right?
And you start by thanking your wife.
I thank her, but I dedicate the book to Mr. Obama. All right. That was the negotiation.
Congratulations on your book.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank
He's
you.
doing great, by the way. Thank you.